owe it. And what would happen, the wife would say, I'm worried. I'm worried. Settle this thing. I talked to our accountant. I talked to the attorney. He said he could settle this $50,000 thing for about $17,000. Like hell, I'm not going to settle it. I don't owe that money. Settle it, John. I'm scared. I'm scared, John. Before Robert Novak died, he had me on his show. He said, Traficant, you'll never change it. He said, even if you can get it through, he says, the IRS will recommend a veto and they just won't allow it. 12 years couldn't get a hearing from the Democrats. Democrat all my life. Not much difference between both parties, folks. Don't want to scare you or offend you. Not much difference. Republicans are in, they start reforming the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS threatened to veto if they included the trafficking language. The trafficking language says, taxpayer is audited. If he complies, gives his receipts, or his accountant participates and doesn't stonewall. If the IRS is not satisfied and litigates, the burden of proof shall transfer to the Internal Revenue Service. Also, it cannot just come out and seize your property and padlock it without notice and the right to be represented in court to contest the taking or the seizing or inactivating your property or your business. Never happened, Traficant. I agree with you. Robert Novak said, man, I agree with you. Well, the Republicans are in. The chairman was a little guy from down in Texas, Bill Archer, and I believe if the last President Bush would have made Bill Archer his Secretary of Treasury, we would not be having the problems we're having today. He was that good. I said on the House floor, this bill's like kissing your sister. It's not going to do much for the American taxpayer. Make it feel good. You can go home and say you reformed the IRS. I got a call that night from the chairman, Bill Archer from Texas. He said, Jim, we've been overwhelmed by phone calls and by messages. They want the trafficant language in this bill, and he says, I've looked at it, and I'm going to put it in for you in conference. That little chairman put it in conference. He fought the senators and fought everybody off, and it was in the final now conference report. See, when the House passes a bill, Senate passes a bill, they're either exactly alike, word for word, or if there's one word different, they appoint conferees, and they conference over the bill and iron out the difference, then take the conference report back to both houses for an up or down vote. Then when it's passed, it's then taken to the president for signature or veto. He not only put it in the bill, he kept it in the bill. It's now in the conference report. The conference report passes the House and the Senate, going to Clinton. I'm on Novak again. He said the IRS has recommended a veto. At that time, the Wall Street Journal called and did a debate via the press with me and the acting commissioner. The acting commissioner says if you pass this, deadbeats are going to get over. They said the only element of collection for a voluntary system is fear. People will not fear the Internal Revenue Service with this ability to litigate. They asked me. I said, well, I don't see fear anywhere in the Constitution, nor do I think it has a fit in a free society, one of liberty, a republic of liberty. So they said, cite a case. Here's what the IRS cited in the Wall Street Journal. Imagine that a fellow gives $1,000 a week to the church. We'll have to do a lifestyle, a net worth, go to the neighbors, go to the bank. Investigate him thoroughly. What do you say about that, Congressman? I said, I think they should go to the church and ask how it was paid, if it was a check, and if it's legitimate. If there's a receipt. Why do they have to go to their neighbors and go to the bank and go to their business associates? The IRS commissioner said, Tell me how in God's name can the Internal Revenue Service prove a negative? And I said, tell me in God's name how a taxpayer can prove a negative. If you've accused, you should have enough information and evidence to carry that accusation into a court of law, or don't accuse. Novak said, what do you think Clinton's going to do? This is almost word for word. I said, they don't call him Slick Willie for nothing. I said, he can either veto the bill and help the IRS workers, or he can sign the bill and help millions of American taxpayers. Bill Clinton signed the bill. Now listen to this, folks. 1 year after the passage of that bill, they did a snapshot review in comparison of the law with the taxpayer having the burden of proof 12 months before and 12 months after, with the IRS having the burden of proof. There were 3 major categories. First one was wage garnishments. 12 months before, when a taxpayer had the burden of proof, 3.1 million Americans had their wages garnished. 12 months after, 560,000. Almost 3 million less. Second category, property liens. Once they lien your property, your home, you're done. 667,000 the year before, 161,000 the year after. The last category, individual family-owned homes seized by the Internal Revenue Service, 10,073 the year before, 57 the following year.
Oh my word.
1 per state. It is exactly the way it is, as I see it. I could be wrong. If America does not repeal the 16th Amendment and the 17th, I am also recommending, because these senators have become national figures and forgot their states. In the old wisdom of the Constitution, they were appointed by the state legislature. If they didn't do the job for the state, they threw them the hell out. And that's what this country needs. It's the United States, not the central government.
Accountability.
16 and 17 should both go. The Internal Revenue Service abolished. And hear me now, because some people are saying, Traficant's just going to tax the hell out of you. Don't listen to that soft talk. Listen to it very carefully. Because Harvard did a study and said they would see little, if any, increase in prices under a 25% consumption retail, final retail sales tax on all new goods and services. New goods and services. Harvard studied it and says, when you take the burdensome cost of compliance with this tax code off the American business and industry community, they'll have so much opportunity for profits. They will drop down to seize market share. What does that sound like? Sounds like capitalism, doesn't it? And they said the drop will be so significant because every American carries an $850 a year burden just because of that tax code. Now watch what it will do. No more withholding. No more capital gains tax. No more corporation tax. They basically passed on to us anyway. No more death taxes. Estate taxes. No more gift taxes. No more tax on savings. No more alternative minimum tax. No more tax on Medicare. No more tax on Social Security. Completely funded. No more audits. No more filing deadlines. No more pressures. No more accountants. No more lawyers. No more paperwork. And now let's just look at the Harvard study.